So our program today is none other, or our speaker is none other than Betsy Kmiecik. Yes, you get more of her at the podium, but Betsy is more deserving of anyone to be at the podium. So Betsy is going to speak about the preventing and addressing harassment within the Rotary. So Betsy, thank you.
Thank you. So, Mr. Zoom Master.
Would you like the PowerPoint?
No, first I want the video. So let me just set this up for a minute.
Sure.
This, so I'm going to show you, for those of you who know me, know I do a lot of training, and there's a rule in training. If you want people to remember what you're telling them, tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them, and then review what you told them. Well, I know this is a smart group, so I'm just going to do the first part. So the first part is a 1 minute and 40-second video that will tell you what I'm going to talk about for 15 minutes. And you're probably wondering, and the video is great, by the way, absolutely great. If you ever need a video, I can tell you who prepared it. He's a Rotarian in another club. First we're going to look at this video, and then I'm going to spend a little time unpacking it. All right. That's not looking promising. Oh, there it goes.
Rotary District 6440 is committed to preventing and addressing harassment within Rotary. Rotary is looking to maintain a respectful environment that is free from any kind of harassment for its clubs and club members. What is harassment? Harassment is any unwelcome verbal, visual, written, or physical contact, advances, or comments that harass, disrupt, or interfere with another by creating an intimidating or hostile environment. Comments based on subjects such as age, ethnicity, race, color, sex, sexual orientation, abilities, religion, socioeconomic status, culture, or gender identity become harassment when they are pervasive or extreme. But it was just a joke. Jokes that are unwelcome, that make fun of a person or group, can and do constitute harassment. What do I do if I feel harassed? Speak up to the person who made the comment, or if you are not comfortable, speak up to a member of your club's board or a Rotarian to whom you feel comfortable talking. Where do I go if I have questions on the subject? First, you can check with your club's president or a club member you respect, or if you prefer, you can reach out to the District 6440 Harassment Prevention Committee. Thank you for watching. Let's take action to keep Rotary a safe and respectful environment for helping our community and other communities around the world. For more information, go to rotary6440.org/site page/harassment or email harassment@rotary6440.org.
All right, thank you, Randy. And now we can go to the PowerPoint. And I'll tell you when to advance. So actually, let's go to the second slide. Yeah, sometimes you get stuck in the PowerPoint and it won't let you. Is there a down arrow?
That's me.
Yeah, okay, so you may need to go back.
Let me try to stop it.
So
There you go.
Yeah, if you leave it like this and then just click on the thumbnails, it's not as smooth, but it works. All right, a little history behind this. Actually, I'm going to skip this slide because it has way too much information. I don't like slides with a lot of information. Here's a more easily understood example. In 2019, RI created a policy and directed a policy, put some training on the Learning Center, and directed district governors to create a policy, a procedure, and some training. So District Governor Suzanne Gibson at the time, just a year ago, formed a committee charged to work on this. Next slide. And the committee was myself as chair. Those of you who don't know me, my background is HR. Dr. Amy Harris-Newen of the Bloomingdale Roselle Club. Amy is a clinical psychologist. She was on the committee. Carlton Marston, Lake Forest, Lake Bluff. Carlton is an attorney. Luis Ramirez from our club, also HR. And the last person was Suzanne San Martinez of the Lake Zurich Club. And Sam is, I always have to check my notes. She is a health and wellness outreach coordinator. So Suzanne put this committee together. It turned out to be a great committee. We had never met. I had never met, other than Luis, of course, I had never met any of these people before, and we never met in person. It was all Zoom. We started in May of last year. We finished around September, never met in person. But I think we accomplished a lot in that 4 months. Next slide.
Skip this one too.
Next slide. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry.
This
All
one?
right, yeah, right. I'm sorry. So here, I can't even read that myself, so I'm gonna have to read it from here. The policy itself, if you're interested, is about 5 pages. But here is the high points. 6440 is committed to maintaining a respectful environment free from any kind of harassment, which includes unwelcome, verbal, visual, written, or physical contact, advances, or comments that harass, disrupt, or interfere with another person's participation in any Rotary activities by creating an intimidating or hostile environment. Next slide. So what exactly is harassment? I'm gonna, Randy, ask you to stop for a minute. Show of hands. And I can no longer see you on Zoom, so I'm gonna have to limit this to the room. Someone give me an example of harassment. Larry.
A bad joke.
A bad joke, might be. Anyone else? Joe.
Unwanted comment on someone's physical appearance.
Absolutely. And I'm going to repeat these for the benefit of those joining on Zoom. Unwanted comment based on someone's physical appearance. Millie.
Unwanted touch or other contact, human contact.
Unwanted touch or human contact. Absolutely. Brian.
Anything gender comments or?
Any gender comments? Absolutely. Anything else? All right, those are good. Good list. So unwelcome, physical contact, comments, advances. Next slide. In order for it to legally meet the definition of harassment, the comment has to be based on one of these 11 categories: age, ethnicity, race, color, sex, sexual orientation, abilities, religion, socioeconomic status, culture, and gender identity. So these 11 factors are what are known as protected classes under various federal laws. So we're going to talk about some things that we might think are harassment, which are not, some things that we might not think are harassment that are. Next slide. So can I say anything to anyone? You know, sometimes when you do a presentation like this, people are like, I don't feel like I can say, in fact, he's not here, so I can say this. I'm married to a person who sometimes says, I don't feel like I can say anything to anyone anymore. Well, think about it. So as I mentioned earlier, the categories on the previous slide are called protected classes. So here are some things that are not protected classes that some people may want to try to say this is harassment. Let's say we've got a Cubs fan and a Sox fan in our club, which of course we have a couple of each. And what if every time we met, during this time of year. The Cubs fans and the Sox fans are making negative comments to each other. Is that harassment? No, it may be annoying, and maybe annoying to the two people, although they're probably enjoying it. It may be annoying to the people around them, but being a Cubs fan or a Sox fan is not a protected class. That sounds like it's coming from the screen. Bears and Packers, same thing. During football season, if you got some Bears fans and some Packer fans and they're at each other every week, is it harassment? So along those same lines, Republicans and Democrats, neither of those are a protected class, and I know it can get heated in an election year. Not harassment, not legal harassment. But now I'm going to give myself as an example. So everyone in the room knows me except our visitor Alex. And even Alex can see, since he's seeing me standing up, I happen to be short. If there was someone in our club who every week said something like, Betsy, stand up when you're talking, when I'm standing, would that be annoying? Yes. Would it be harassment? No, because height is not a protected class. But I happen to be a woman and I happen to be old. So if there was someone in our club who made comments to me about either my gender or my age, that would be harassment. So some examples of what are and what are not harassment. Questions, comments at this point? Linda.
So what if somebody said to you, stand up, sweetie?
I'd probably punch them, but and that would probably be an unwelcome contact.
That's based on your sex.
Right. Yes, that would be harassment. But we're gonna go into some further detail in a minute. So if the person did that to me one time, it's not harassment. But if they did it every week, it's harassment. So next slide. Ooh, what happened there?
You got a blank one in there.
Oh, let's skip that one. I could just add lib if you want. All right, it was just a joke. Often when someone is told, you know what, that comment, I didn't appreciate that comment was inappropriate. Often people will say, oh, come on, it was just a joke. Can't you take a joke? Guess what? No, if the joke is based on one of those protected classes, if it's making fun of someone in one of those classes, it can and will constitute harassment. So just a joke is not an excuse. Next slide. So again, I mentioned the person that I live with who, again, sometimes says, I feel like I can't say anything. Is it okay to compliment a person? So here's just a couple examples I came up with. Nice haircut, which I often say because I'm always looking at people's hair. That's a beautiful sweater. Those pants look great on you. New shoes, where'd you get them? Those are, except for the pants one, those are probably pretty common for me. So anyone feel any of those could be harassment?
The pants one.
The pants one, maybe. Yeah. The sweater one, maybe, depending on the tone of voice, literally the tone of voice. If someone said to someone, wow, that sweater looks amazing on you, or you look amazing in that sweater, maybe that's a problem. So I have the Betsy Kmiecik rule of thumb on appropriate comments. Whatever you're thinking about saying, stop and ask yourself. If you would say it in front of your mother, your spouse, or your significant other, go ahead and say it. If you would not say it in front of your mother, your spouse, or your significant other, then maybe you should keep it to yourself. Comments, questions? Next slide. So when do comments and contact become harassment? Under the law, it's when they become severe and pervasive. Next slide. Severe and pervasive could be a single act, if it's a physical act or a particularly egregious verbal comment. Could be severe, could meet the definition of severe and pervasive, but normally it's on those ongoing comments every week, every time you see the person. One time may not be a problem, but every week it becomes severe and pervasive. And that's what the law describes as harassment. Next slide. So what do? The best thing to do is speak up to the person who made the comment or the contact. However, and to do it immediately. Like, I did not appreciate that, but a lot of us don't feel comfortable doing that. Or we may be stunned that the person even made the comment, and we're driving home from Rotary, or we're driving back to the office from Rotary, and that's when it hits us. That was not right. So if you feel comfortable talking to the person, reach out to them. If you don't, speak up to a member of your club's board that you feel comfortable talking to, or any Rotarian that you feel comfortable talking to. Next slide. Oh, so this is one of my favorite slides, and actually Luis, not with us today because he's in Spain, although he sent me an email this morning saying good luck with your presentation. Luis created this flow chart. It's the kind of thing that gives me a headache just looking at it, so I'm not going to talk to you about it, but it's on the district website. This just shows what we're going to do, what the district process is every time there's a complaint. So if you're curious about it, it's on the district website, and I can tell you how to find it. Next slide. So as I said, we started last May working on this. We finished about in September, and these were we were charged to do the following things. We meaning the district. It was decided that the policy would be communicated to all Rotarians. That happened last fall. I'm sure most of you don't remember. A page was created on the district website that has the policy, that amazing flow chart. It has that 1 minute and 40-second video, and it has a recording of a presentation I did last fall. A copy of the flow chart, the policy and flow chart were sent to all assistant governors. The Zoom roundtable I just mentioned was held last fall. It was supposed to be, all presidents-elect were supposed to be trained during PETS, but because PETS was not only virtual, but mega, didn't quite happen. But instead it happened 2 weeks ago at the training session. Anyone who attended spring training got to hear me give this same presentation. So those of you who are hearing this for the second or third time this month, sorry about that. Next slide. So what if you have questions? You should check with your club's president, because all presidents have been trained, or a club member that you trust. You know, it's possible, certainly not in our club, but it's possible in some clubs, the president could be a problem. So you don't want to send people to the president if the president is the problem. That's why we give it as an option. Some Rotarian that you feel comfortable with. Go to, all you have to do is go to the district website, put in harassment in the search window, and it'll take you to all the documents plus the video that I just described. Or if you prefer, you can email the district governor and the Harassment Prevention Committee chair, who happens to be me right now, at harassment@rotary6440.org. Any email any email sent to that email address goes currently to Lyle and myself. All right, I think that is it. Is there one more slide? No, that's it. Questions? First of all, any questions on the Zoom? Were you all able to hear and see? Thank you, Dave. Roger?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we were.
Yes. Good.
And I do have a question. Has
Okay.
there been any harassment reports this year to the district?
Have there been any? I don't think I am authorized to answer that question, Roger, because harassment complaints are confidential.
Well, I'm not asking specifics. I just meant, have there been any reports?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Anyone else? Alice, do you have your hand up?
No,
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, that was the cursor. Oh, okay. Anyone in the room? Question? All right.
I think I get to give this talk tonight to daycare counselors. So
Ah.
thank you for the.
All right.
Do we perceive that there is a real problem that needs to be addressed, or is this just a general set of guidelines?
I think it's
Civility.
on our eyes, from the RI standpoint, I think it's just good governance. And at least, you know, I don't know what's happening in the other.
It's
how many
federal mandate now for sexual harassment training in
That's true.
all
Good
organizations.
point. It
And,
is, right?
you know,
Annually, right?
Yeah,
Annually.
annually. Yes.
So in our district, there is certainly not a problem. There are other districts, I don't know. Anything else? All right. Oh, Millie?
I want to apologize to Terry, Ron, Joe, anyone else whose knees are showing today. Comments earlier today.
Ignore my comments to that website that I'm sorry.
I was just really looking at our old former dress code. It did not mean to make you uncomfortable in any way, shape, or form.
No need.
No offense.
Oh.
Had to go there. Thank you, Betsy. Thank you, Betsy.